Welcome to another episode of Parenting Teens Advice Redefined for today's world, where we have the honest, real, and raw conversations to support parents, to support our teens in any and all challenges. And today's conversation is one that matters very deeply to me, and not just for the LGBTQ plus teens, but for every parent and every educator who wants to create spaces where young people feel safe, feel seen, and feel valued. Today, I'm joined by Stef Vachon, creator and host of the wonderful Together Moving Forward podcast, a podcast devoted to LGBTQ plus visibility, healing, and personal growth. Stef is a survivor of homophobia, harassment, and abuse, and he shares his story not only from a place of pain, but from a place of resilience, self-awareness, and reclamation. A former competitive figure skater who courageously returned to the ice later in life, Steph embodies what it means to reconnect with parts of yourself that were once silenced by fear or shame. Today, he uses his voice to advocate for authenticity, self-worth, and the power of moving forward with pride and attention. This is a conversation about identity, courage, and healing, and what our teens need from us right now. And you can learn more about Stef later when we talk about his podcast, again, Together Moving Forward. Welcome, Stef Vachon.
Wow, thank you so much for having me. This is so nice to hear you say all that bio, because it's like we forget how far we come from, and to have somebody else reading it, it's really moving. Thank you very much.
Yeah, it comes from my heart and from listening to your podcast. I am truly an ally. Personally, professionally, I've always been an ally. And I just think we never have enough of these conversations. We just don't. And even coming up from our latest news in Canada and all the media around it, and the very first target is identity as opposed to anything else. And I'm not going to get into it because everyone can kind of read between the lines there. But it really hit me today when I saw the social media come out, and I thought, I'm glad we're doing this conversation today because it just tears my heart out. So I want to talk about, first of all, let's hear all about Stef. Why you here? What's with the podcast? What's the point? Tell us all the good things, Stef.
Oh my God, that would take a few days, but okay, I'll try to be really, really quick. Well, I grew up in an environment that was really unsafe, that was really into anxiety, a lot of name calling, a lot of abuse and bullying. So growing up was really hard. I learned basically to hate myself because there was no place where I felt safe at all. So everywhere I was, from the moment I woke up until I went back to bed, it was always an unsafe place with insults and being put down. And it got really hard, even harder in high school. Basically, I spent almost my 5 years of high school in the same bathroom stall, hiding. And then I was in love with my sport, which is figure skating. And I'm from a small town, a French-Canadian small town, where boys played hockey, Mm-hmm. And that was it. So, of course, I was not in the box, fitting in the box right away. And I tried to talk about it with what was happening to me, how I was being treated. And there was no one that listened or wanted to help me. I can't tell you why exactly. I'm still trying to find out why. I think I kind of let go of that because I had to, move on. But that really shaped my life, like my whole life. So basically, I can say that I didn't have really a childhood because I learned to survive really quickly, really young. And I will never say this enough, but to parents that are hearing, please make sure that your child has a safe place at home. Because when we go out into the world and it's already hard enough. So it is so crucial to go back home and have a safe place. But for me, it was even worse. So there was the only place I felt safe was in that bathroom stall, in high school, which is absolutely not normal.
Yeah.
So that shaped me, and then that made me quit the love that I had, which was figure skating, pretty young, because even if I was really talented and really I was really good at it, it was really easy for me, and I really thought, being young, that I would do great things, that I would go really far, because I was so talented and so driven and such a hard worker. I mean, nobody ever had to tell me get to work. I mean, it was all on my own. And but of course, being, having to survive day in and day out, I could not compete and be, successful and think of myself of, being able to do all that. The stress was and anxiety was already so strong that it became like I became really bad at it, at competition. I mean, I would fall, like it was a real joke at the end. I could not. The thing that happened is that I would lose the feeling of my legs in competition. Like I could not feel my legs anymore. So try to go on a blade on the ice and perform jumps and high technical stuff when you don't feel your legs. The feeling would totally go away. So I would trip on my skates. I would be falling all the time. So then on top of it, so I was really ashamed of, I thought I was weak. I was not able to control my nerves. So I even made it to nationals at 17 here in Canada. And that was it. Like I could not go on. I saw all the other guys I used to being at the Olympics and going to World Championships and nationals. And here I made it barely to nationals, but that was the only time, like after being young, that I did something. But even then, I mean, seeing them, being so much better than me then, and I knew that I could have been there. So Ice Capades came in town. I was 17 years old. So that's the ones that don't know Ice Capades, it was the professional ice show in North America. And they came in town and I was 17 and I thought, here's my chance to just get out, leave, and start a better life. So I auditioned. They took me right away. And at 18, I quit my competitive figure skating career. And I left in the ice show thinking that I would be saved going away. But what happened is that, yes, I mean, you go into doing great things, but what I thought of myself and the weight I carried it was like a big garbage bag, like heavy garbage bag that you carry. And I had such a low self-esteem and I hated myself so much that I could not be happy and I could not be living the moment at all. So I was still surviving. And as I got older, it got worse and worse. So it's like the bag just kept being heavy and heavier and heavier because I didn't know what was going on and I was not dealing with the problem. And I didn't have the tools. Like nobody taught me how to deal with emotions and all these, thoughts and these feelings. So I just pretended I became the best actor, the way I speak, the way I hold myself, the way I skate. So I try not to look too gay. So everywhere I was, I became an actor. So I was getting older, but then who is the real me? So I totally lost myself. In my early 30s, I quit anything that had to do with figure skating. Became like a chameleon, I would say, that I would do and everything that people would tell me or just try to fit in, So I totally lost myself. Like I didn't know who I was anymore. I was not doing what I loved. So I became this, like, I would say, ghost until I finally had a break point where the anxiety was so hard that one day I had got a job that was in a big office, and I thought that would make me happy because I would do something else than skating and I would become someone. And one day I just could not get out of the house. The anxiety was so bad. I just could not. So then it was like the breaking point. Okay, there's either I try to find what's going on with me and try to be happy, or I'm gone. It was those two choices. And so I went to see my doctor. I explained what was going on, and I was not going to work anymore. And I started writing. And I wrote my whole life on paper. From the beginning until that day, I wanted to understand what was going on in me and why couldn't I say anymore what I wanted to eat for dinner? Why didn't I didn't know nothing anymore. I didn't know what I wanted to wear, who I wanted to be, what I wanted to do with my life. And I'm just in my early 30s, right? So and I wrote, and not just things that happened to me, but the choices that I made and why did I make those choices? Because when you hate yourself, and then when you act with what other people are going to say about you or what you should be doing, you don't make the right choices. So all the choices that I was making were about other people and how do I fit in. So I wanted to understand that. So I wrote everything, and it took me weeks. And then I found the best therapist. And when I met him for the first time, I took my big pile of paper and I threw it on his desk and I said, okay, I want you to read this. I didn't even say, please. I was like so determined. I said, okay, please read this. Tell me if you can save me. And if you can't, I'm gone. That's it. I can't anymore. And so he made me promise to come back the following week, which I did. And I felt, okay, it seems like there's somebody finally that is going to hear me and listen to me and hopefully help me. So I went back the next week, and right away, first thing he said, sit down. I'm going to help you. Things are going to get better. So,
wow.
Yeah. So
okay, I wasn't expecting that, but
yeah. Well, when I talk about these things, it makes me emotional because it's even like you reading this, what you read about me earlier. It's like, oh my God, like what I used to feel and how I used to see myself and how I see myself now is like such a big like gap. It's like two different people. So then we started this relationship. I did everything he asked me to do. There was a lot of reading, a lot of exercise. He saved my life. He basically taught me how to first see what happened. And I had to learn to take that shame away, because I thought for the longest time that I was a weak person. That why didn't I defend myself? Why didn't I, react early enough? But I mean, looking back on it today, I was a child. I was alone. There is no way I could have learned by myself to do that. I'm really, really sensitive person. I feel, and my radar is so good on seeing people, how they are. And I'm so sensitive to everything that is going on outside me and in me that there was no way. I didn't have the tools. Like I could not do that on my own. So then we started this healing process in my early 30s. And time went on. There was a lot of work. And when I could finally be happier with myself, I met my husband. And 6 years ago, we had a little boy come in with us. And that was the biggest and the most incredible gift in my life. I always wanted to be a dad. I was young. One of my dream was to have my own family and be a dad. And society was telling me that I was not allowed to, So when finally it was the law became that I could, we went through the process of here in Quebec we have a lot of choices, but we wanted, honestly, I didn't want to have to bring another human being on this earth. I thought there's so many children that are in need of having, parents and have a better life. I felt that's what I really wanted. And my husband was totally on the same thoughts as me. And we had done some volunteering work in some schools for breakfast and all that. And there was a little girl once, she was staring at me, and the emptiness in her look, in her eyes, I mean, it was like I cried the whole day. She just looked at me straight in the eyes. I tried to speak with her and she would just look at me, but she was so empty, and she looked like her soul was dead. And it was like, it was so hard for me. I remember that day, like I went to work and I was like, I cried the whole day. And I thought, this is what I want. As to be a dad, I want to help a child that needs a better life. And I never thought that this boy would give me so much, because this is when I really learned that when you give to someone, how much you receive in return. Because see, when we had him, and then it was like, okay, I want to be the best dad that I can be. And I, for sure, will not give him what I received. I will give him what I didn't receive, right? And so I'm good. I'm really good I've been coaching figure skating for years, and I like looking around and see, okay, I'm not going to do this with my kids. I'm not going to do that with my kids. So for me, it's easy to, I put my ego on the side and I'm like, okay, I want to be the best that I can be. So what do I have to do? And then when I started giving this love to my son and this security, I realized, oh my God, but I don't have that for myself. So how am I going to give him that if I don't give that to myself first? And so he helps me in every day, like my personal growth from being with my child, and give him the security, the love, and to listen and watch him. When there's something going on, like when he has a bad behavior or something, okay, I know what's going on. We sit down, we talk, ask questions, and he's now able to talk about his emotions. And he's 9 years old. And he's coming from a really, tough life, and he's able to express his emotion and see what's going on. For me, this is one of the biggest gifts I want to give him. But he's giving me that, So then, and we had, he came in with us. He was 3.5 years old. So already, he had lived through a lot of things, right? Yeah. And just a trauma of being taken away from his biological family, and all that. And it was during pandemic. So for me, I'm sorry to say, I know it was hard for a lot of people, but the pandemic break for us was the best time of my life, because he came with us 2 weeks before the shutdown. And then we were 24 hours a day together for a whole year.
Oh,
it was amazing. We got to know each other. We would go outside in the parks. We're all alone, and so we learned to get to know each other. And then I took some courses to, being at home, and studied marketing, digital marketing. And then when I started feeling so much better about myself, and I started respecting myself even more and loving myself, which I thought could never happen to me. And I started discovering all that. I'm like, okay, now I'm getting to, I'm getting to the age, I'm 57 soon. And I'm like, I have to start thinking of retirement. And I just could not see myself like retiring and doing my own little life. I'm like, no, with everything that I've been through and how I'm feeling about myself now, I feel like I would be selfish to just go on and retire and do my little thing. And I'm like, so I want to do something to give back to my own community, because if I would have had one little thing, because of course it was the end of the 70s, early 80s. There was nothing. Of course, there was no social media, internet. There was nothing on TV really that I could look up to and say, the word homosexuality did not even exist where I was, it was not even possible. So I thought I was like the only one, sick, unworthy kid, in the world. So I kept thinking, okay, I want to do something meaningful and for my community. And then I was listening to Mel Robbins, which is like the best.
Let them.
We all, yes. Oh, I have the book here. And I love her. And then she said, she was talking about reinventing yourself. And I was really looking into, what do I want to do for the rest of my life? And then she said, if you even want to start your own podcast at 55, just do it like I did. Yes. And then I just went, oh my God. It like a light came in. I'm like, okay, that's for now the best way to start and do something with my community. And then again, so I started the podcast not knowing at all what to do, but I'm listening and I'm like, okay, I can, copy this and that and see what they're doing. And then there was another transformation, hearing other people's stories and hearing other people telling you how they grew up and how they are healing and what they're doing, from day to day, is helping me so much. And it's helping me reconnecting with who I was, who I am, and I keep learning every day. So this is like the other best part, So, and I'm now gonna launch my keynote speech really soon. That's something else that I've been really thinking about, been working on. And I feel like I'm not the end of what I want to do, but it's like right now, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to do. It's fulfilling me. I can't work in an office and I just can't. It's not me. I went back into also thinking, who was I when I was a really, really young kid? I was really creative. I was really artistic. I liked things that were different. I was free. I was determined. I was a hard worker and all that. And to create the podcast and to do something meaningful for my community, and that helps me as much. I'm like, bingo, I think I really found, my voice. And that's so fulfilling because I need to do something that is meaningful. Like I said, I cannot just wake up and go to work and come back. Like, to me, that would be dying. This is death to me. This is not. And having our son, starting the podcast, I'm back on the ice. I started skating again a year ago when my son said, I would like to learn how to skate. And my skates were in the closet. And I put my skates on with him. It was outside. Here we had a beautiful rink outside in the old port of Montreal. And I just stepped on the ice and I had the goosebumps again. And right away I saw, okay, there you go. You have to get back on the ice and you have to start again doing what you love to do. And so doing all that together, being back on the ice, being with our son, the podcast, so my life now is completely transformed. It has a meaning. It feels like I'm little Steph that was 7, 8, 9, 10 years old in this old body. So sometimes it's hard. Like this morning I went skating. I mean, I got up and, got my son to school. And then I'm like, at 8:00 I was on the ice training, and it's like loving it. But at the same, and I want to, I don't have any time to waste anymore. Because I felt like I survived for so long. I did some great things, but I was not living them. And now I want to live every minute of my day. So it's important that at the end of the day, I did what I wanted to do and I was who I wanted to be. It's so important. Like, I don't have 1 minute to waste. Because we never know. I mean, I'm not getting younger, and I'm still healthy enough that I can be back on the ice, that I can take care of our son and my family and do the things that I want. So let's say that at the end of the day, I'm pretty tired. I'm like I did not waste 1 minute in my day. I'm so productive, but I love it like that. I love it like that. So I can say that I'm living. I'm like,
oh my God.
I'm like living every day. It's not perfect every day. Of course not. I mean, there's days that I'm doubting myself, that I feel like I'm not enough, but then it doesn't last for too long anymore. I know what to do. Now I have the tools, and I can go back into take a moment to stop and breathe and like, okay, what's going on? What's going on? Why am I feeling like that right now? But I didn't have those tools before. But now I do. So that would be like a big resume of my life from
I'm so inspired. I think the first thing I want to say is I'm sorry that was your life before now. I am sorry. And what a voice you have for others now. Like, what a voice. And I also want to say, when you said, I was like, when you said that therapist saved your life, I almost want to flip that around and say you saved your life because you reached out to the therapist. You could have chosen otherwise.
Yeah.
And so when people are listening, I want them to understand that that's the next step.
Yeah.
That there's always hope. There's somebody out there.
Yeah.
And we just have to find them. And, the universe, whatever, puts them in our path. And yes, help save your life. But Steph, you saved your life. I think that's really important. And, oh my goodness. I also love in your podcast, because I say this in the intro of mine all the time, is we're not raising kids, we're raising humans.
Yeah.
And I love when you introduce yourself as a human. I identify as a human. I love that. I love that. And I say that because so much came to me as in the language that we use. So like for parents who are listening, and, you know, I was an educator for 28 years. So ran the GSA long before, and I have her permission to say this, my daughter came out. Long before my daughter came out, I was an ally. And I would hear either teachers or parents say, yeah, you know, my daughter's queer, my son's gay, and I accept that. I'm okay with that. And I know, and this is not a slam, because I know parents do the best they can with what they have, most of them, not all of them. And I would like to think with so much love. However, the point of these podcasts is to bring awareness to our language.
Yeah.
And I want to get your take on this, because when I would hear somebody say that, I would think, duh, like it's not your business to accept. It's not your right to accept or not accept. I have never once said to somebody, hey, I'm a straight cisgendered female, and they've never said, oh, I accept you. Never.
Or
So,
it doesn't bother me, right?
oh yeah. Oh, that's yeah. Yeah. Like what? Why?
Yeah.
So let's talk about the imperative language that we use as educators or as teachers or as parents, how important it is and what words are impactful and make our kids feel safe when we use them. Say when they come out, say when you're wondering, say whatever, like what are the words that make them feel safe? Like what would you have loved to hear?
Well, like you said, I say, and I do it really purposely when I say, my name is Steph and I'm a human, because we learn to be in a box or in that container that society tells us to be and to do. Mm-hmm. And if you're not in that, what most people think they are, then it's wrong. Mm-hmm. And it can be it's not just for the LGBTQ community, it's for everybody. From what you like, what your talent when you're a kid, everything. So first, what I would have liked to hear is that wanting to be a figure skater and being successful at it when I was young was wow. But that was not it. What I heard was like, oh, you CC homo, that's what I heard right away. So being good at what I loved and being good at something became shameful right away. So I would have loved to have just somebody says, wow, look at you, look at what you're achieving, look at you, look at what you're doing. And why wasn't it like that? Because, I think we learn, and that's, I think the big problem is that we learn really young from generation to generation to generation, Yeah. And we have to break these cycles. I mean, even just for me, it was so hard to break the cycle of being ashamed of being who I was, because that's what we learn. That's what you hear. That's what, the words are so incredibly powerful. And as a parent, and I am a dad now, I need to make sure that when my son comes home, he is in a safe environment where he can be himself 100% in every way. And for that, we watch him, we listen to him. Like right now, I'm looking at him and trying to find out what his interests are really, to be able to help him when he grows up. Okay, like maybe we should try this for you to think of, being who you want to be when you're later, when you grow up, instead of putting brakes and instead of wanting my ego for my child to be who I want him or her to be. And I think that's the beauty of having your own child, is to watch them blossom and grow as who they truly are, you know?
Mhm.
So words are so important to just be there for them. And
Mhm.
just, I mean, I want to be there for my son, and I want to help him grow into his desires. And I have to make this space free for him to be who he is. So then he can flourish and be himself, really.
Mhm.
Not wait until he's 50 or 60 years old to
Yeah.
finally, you know, have a life where, I mean, I was not who I wanted to be my whole life. I
Mhm.
was somebody else, and I didn't do the things I wanted to do because because of what happened, and because I was
Mhm.
told that I never had anybody just supporting me into who I was. That would
Mhm.
have helped me so much into discovering who Steph was,
Mhm.
you know? And now I'm going back into um, with my keynote speech that I'm working on. I mean, I'm going back into my childhood again, and I'm discovering so many things like, oh my God, I forgot about that. When I was really young, what I loved to do, what I was doing, I used to go with a tape recorder and record all these weird noises and then make up a play with the kids and tell them what to do. And, you know, that's what I love to do, like create things. And then I
Mhm.
would be the artistic director at 6 years old already and telling all the kids what to do. And
Mhm.
this is who I was, but I lost that,
Mhm.
you know, as I grew up. So I think it's easy. It should be easy for us parents to just sit back, look at your kid and look what he's doing, the interests are, what he's saying, you know, to listen and to watch, and then just be there for them, to encourage them,
Mhm.
make them try new things, support them in what they want to try. And if they're not sure, they don't know, make them try anything,
Mhm.
you know, and just be there to, just like as a coach, you know, just being, not even telling them what to do, but just supporting. I think that is like, so to me, that is so important. I think it's the basic. And I wish I would have had that,
Yeah.
because I know for sure. Okay, I'll tell you something. It's the Olympics right now.
Mhm.
And my heart is a little bit like, because we'll never know, but I think I could have been there, knowing who I am today, and
Mhm.
how much talent I had, and how hard worker I was, and dedicated, and I'm still am. I mean, when I go on the ice right now, I mean, I have an hour session. I don't even waste 5 seconds of it,
Mhm.
you know, and but and that's fine. It's okay. I'm okay with that. But I don't know who I could have been. I lost so many chances of doing and being things that I could have been. So, but I have to not have any regrets. And this is why I'm living 500 miles an hour today, and I want to enjoy it. But that took a while to forgive myself, because I
Mhm.
thought it was my fault, you know?
And if you were on the ice at the Olympics right now, we wouldn't be having this conversation
Yeah.
and you wouldn't be changing lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think we are destined to do wherever we land. And you're still skating, but you're changing lives. So kudos.
Well,
I'll give you a medal for changing lives. How's that?
well, thank you. And that's the purpose that I want to have too. That's what's
Yeah.
really inspiring me too, and to be, you know, it's like I tell myself when I feel down and I feel like I'm not enough, I'm not going to be able to achieve what I want, and blah, blah, blah. I know that. The first thing that comes in my mind is like, I'm not going to let them win.
Mm. Yeah.
I'm not going to let them win. So if I give up, I let them win. So I'm scared of something now. I go at it. I'm scared of this. Okay, I'll do it. I'll try it at least,
Yeah.
So
Love it.
yeah.
So for the parents that are listening, I want to know, and they're trying to support their kids. How does shame show up when you're a teenager, when you're a kid? How does it show up when you are, as a kid, questioning your identity, even if you haven't disclosed anything? How does that show up? And how is a parent able to show up for their kid in that situation?
I think it's by the behaviors. You'll see the behavior changing. I became really silent.
Mm.
I was really sick. I started having asthma, allergies, pneumonia, bronchitis. I was at the doctor all the time. And I'll tell you something funny. I remember being at the doctor and praying to be sick.
Mm.
Because for me, it was the only way that I thought I could get attention and that I would not go to school. So I think physically and also behaviors. I mean, if I look, when my son gets aggressive with his toys, or he starts, crying for nothing, or I would just say something. He asks for permission, and I say, no, we're not going to do that today. And then he starts having a fit. Okay, what's going on? And right away now he's able to, say, well, I miss mommy, or I miss my brother. He's got a brother in another family now that we still see, like there's something. Yeah. So I say, okay, so what do you do now when you miss mommy? What can we do? So he knows now that if you're in school, you go see the teacher and you say, I miss mommy, can I have a hug? So we try to find things, and right away you see the behavior is changing. So I think for parents, it's look what's going on. Be aware. You'll see if your kid is like, either you see the behavior changing in any way, or they get sick often. I mean, my body spoke to me so much, and it speaks to me right now all the time when I'm hurting somewhere, and I think that's a really good way to see if something is going on. Because I thought, growing up, I knew it was different because I had the same crush on the same boys that all the girls had, and they would talk about that same boy, But of course, my behavior was totally changed, and I was really aggressive too, And so I think that would be the best way for parents to watch your kid, and you see if there's a behavior towards something or someone, or just it says a lot. So try to have a conversation about because your kid has to feel safe that he can or she can talk to you, and they are so smart and they are so aware. Our son now, I can't believe that he's able to talk about his emotions and say, oh, I miss, or I'm sad about that. I'm disappointed about what happened, or this or that. It's incredible.
That's the parents. That's parents. Having him name his emotions is massively huge.
Yeah.
So then one step further, mom and or dad or parents are wondering and want to create a safe environment for their kid to come out to them, to feel safe. What can they say or even do, if they don't want to say, hey, I have a feeling, when my daughter, my daughter, I don't know, maybe she was 20. I had literally no idea. And we're driving. Can you drive me to the GO station? I am in Ontario, so we have the GO train. Can you drive me to the GO station? I have a date today. I said, yeah, sure, no problem. So we get in the car. They said, who's your date with? And she said, Julie. And I registered for about 3 seconds and I said, oh, cool. Where are you going? That was it. That was it. Because who cares? Like, I love her. I care about her, but she's not murdering people and she's not like selling methane on the street. I'm good. Like, I'm good. And it was so easy and it's so hard for me. And I know it's not like that for everybody. I know that. I'm not judging it, but I'm asking you to say, if that was the same conversation in the car and what would I say? What else? How do we create this safe environment, even whether they directly come out to you or you're wondering and you really want them to feel safe to come out to you? What could you say or do to create a safe environment?
Well, I would say before you had that talk, we hear so much right now about the community and what, governments and countries are putting down and trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think for a parent right now is say what they think about what's going on right now in the world and say, oh my God, I can't believe they're doing that to this community. And it shouldn't be like that. And, I support them. And I think they should have the right to be like anybody else and be themselves and be happy, And I think right away, you create this space that, oh my God, if I can, I can trust my parents and come out and tell them.
Mm-hmm.
They have to know that they're safe at home. So when there's so many subjects we can talk about, being racist, being, all of that, and you can just put your to disagree with what's going on like badly and just say, I don't agree with that. And I think, anybody should have the right to be who they are in every color and every gender and, just be yourself. I mean, that's the beauty. That isn't it what you want your child to be, like who he is, as she is, like just being themselves. I mean, to me, that's the biggest gift that I want from my son.
That is such a good answer.
Yeah,
that's gold.
So that's all. I mean, the way you acted in the car is perfect. It's perfect. I mean, and you know what we do with our son and what we've done from the start. He was at kindergarten and we're like, okay, so do you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend? And at first, because he has 2 dads now. So at first it was like, oh, I have a boyfriend. And then later he would say, I have a girlfriend. And now he's got a wife.
Oh,
he's got a wife. And she doesn't live here. He sees her, like they clicked. It's a friend of my husband. And she has a daughter. And they saw each other. It was love.
Oh my God.
So now it's his wife and he's 9 years old, and I ask him again, sometimes even, are you sure you want a wife? You don't want a husband? And then he's like, no, I want a wife. She's going to be my wife, but whatever, like it's for him. And he's come to Pride with us. I mean, he's traveled with us. We go to Toronto each year on Pride in Montreal and everywhere, and he's there. And he's got his little flag in his bedroom and he loves, doing, for him, it's normal to be who you are. So we created that. I used to make a joke with my straight friends before we had him. And when we had him, I would say to my straight friends, I would say, if our son tells us he's straight, we're just going to have to kick him out of the house. Like, we're not going to, we're not going to put up with that. And they would all freak out and look at me. Are you crazy? Are you crazy? Like, do you understand what you're saying? And then I would say, well, isn't it what other people say to us? And they're like, oh, yeah. Yeah, like when you turn things around, Then oh my
Jeez.
God, you're right. Well,
Uh-huh.
yeah, you're right. That's it.
Oh,
Yeah.
God. That was moving. That was moving. Okay, I want to ask one more question because I know we have to wrap. But you talk a lot about in your podcast validation. And I would love for you to define validation and to continue on with you talk about outsourcing validation. So can you talk about that?
Validation, I had to learn to stop begging for validation. And I tried most of my life. And I tried and I tried. And the more I tried, the more I was the guilty one.
Mm-hmm.
And I was the guilty one. And there was a really big, hard moment where I was cut off from my whole environment. And I thought, okay, there's nothing worse that can happen. So who am I going to believe now? Who am I going to validate? And it's myself.
Mm.
It's myself. And it's so not refreshing. It's more than that. It's like, it's so rewarding. And it's like the weight on your shoulder of wanting to be validated by other people and just truly be proud of who you are.
Mm.
Is like, I lost 500 pounds on my shoulders.
Mm.
But that took a lot of work, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But this is one of the biggest gifts I wish during the podcast that I will give to people, that they will understand, because we think that if our family or people really close don't validate who we are, that we can't live.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not true.
Mm-hmm.
It's not true.
And there has to be a community there for you. Like if
Of
your
course.
family isn't accepting, can you seek out? There are people out there. There is a community. There are allies out there. Seek them out. Seek out the therapists who will help you change your life. Oh, Steph, I feel like we need a sequel because I want to talk about how teachers can intervene and help schools feel safe. So we might have to do a part 2 if that's okay with you.
Oh, that would be perfect. I would have a great story that happened, like a really bad story from high school with a nurse that came into our class. We'll keep it for another.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so important to be.
Sequel to come.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Sequel to, I know, I have a few stories being an educator and other teachers and just thinking, did you actually hear the words that are coming out of your mouth right now? Because I don't, what is this? So yes, we will do this again. Steph, I can't tell you how grateful I am to have connected with you, to have heard your story. You are changing lives. We know that. And I'm so grateful for that. And yeah, we got to do a part 2. These conversations just have to happen and happen and happen. Yeah. We can never stop talking. We can never stop talking. Mm. And so I thank you so much for being a part of this. And I'm so grateful you have taken, your life has landed exactly where it is. And I know it's this, just listening has been, made me feel exhausted for you. And yet, like I said, if all of that didn't happen, who knows whose life you're changing right now when somebody shares the show and there's a kid sitting in the bathroom stall listening to podcasts. Who knows? Who knows? So thank you. I so appreciate this. And thank you for listening. If there's an episode to share, I don't even think I have to tell you. But share this if you have comments, if you have questions. I am available, and I'm sure Steph is available. And Well, now I forgot the title of your podcast. Tell me one more time.
Together
moving forward.
Yeah, together moving forward.
Episode 47. Start with that one. That just moved me, and then to 48, and then it just went on. I was like spiraling into it. But thank you again. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next time. As we close this conversation, I want you to sit with something. Our teens are not asking us to have the perfect language. They're not asking us to understand every identity or to get every word right. They're asking us to feel safe, to feel believed, and to feel chosen. Steph's story reminds us that when a young person feels silenced, shamed, or unseen, they don't just lose connection with others, they begin to lose a connection with themselves. And the real work for us as parents and educators isn't about controlling outcomes or protecting our comfort. It is about doing our own internal work. Because when we confront our biases, our fears, and our conditioning, we expand our capacity to hold complexity. We choose curiosity over control. We become the safe place. We become the reason a teen doesn't have to reclaim themselves decades later. Every young person deserves to move forward with pride and intention, not after surviving their adolescence, but because they were supported through it. So the question is, it isn't whether our teens are ready to live authentically. The question is, are we ready to create the kind of environment that allows them to? Let's keep moving forward together. Thank you for listening. And again, if you have questions, you can reach out to me on social media. You can email, get on my website, CherylPankhurst.com. We can continue these conversations. And if you have more questions for Steph, you can connect with him on Instagram at Together Moving Forward. Thank you again for listening. This was really important. Thank you for listening to another episode. I just wanted to share something with you because, parenting teens is not just about managing these challenges that we talk about on all the episodes. It's also about evolving alongside them. And I'm Cheryl, and not only the host of this podcast, but I'm also the creator of Insight to Impact coaching and consulting. And I help you, moms of teens, reconnect with your true selves so you can lead with purpose. You can parent with clarity. You can create stronger, more meaningful relationships with your kids. Because here's the truth. The transformation starts with you. Together, we will break free from the stress and overwhelm. We will rediscover your power. We will create the life and the family dynamic you always dreamed of. If you're ready to start this journey, let's do it. You might just not recognize your life in the next 90 days. It all starts with a call. There's no pitch. There's no pressure. Just a call to see if I can help. We'll talk about your goals. We'll talk about what's making you feel stuck and what might be getting in your way. And everything you need to connect with me is in the show notes. Again, I'm Cheryl. Thank you so much for joining me here on Parenting Teens Advice Redefined for today's complex world, and the creator of Insight to Impact Coaching and Consulting. Have a great day.